In this lesson and the next one, we'll be studying the blend tool in depth, which, due to its importance, we'll be dedicating to posters. But first, let's take a look at Pinterest to the subboards number 3 and 4 in order to see what we can do with it. As you can see, we can achieve interesting three-dimensional effects without having to work in 3D itself. In our poster number 3, we'll see a depth effect like this one, while in our next lesson with our poster number 4, we'll try to achieve a volume effect similar to this one. Nonetheless, the blend tool is quite versatile, and you can get with it a large shape variety and some very convincing results. So let's get to it. As always, I have my template ready and the colors I'm going to use. I'm going to hide the template and create a layer for the poster. In this poster, we'll be using one of the most useful tools there is to work with gradients. That tool is the blend tool. It's this one here, and its keyboard shortcut is W. Let's see how it works. I'm going to draw two elements. I'll leave them without any fill so you can see it better. And if I select these two elements and apply the blend tool, what this tool does is to create some kind of intermediate shapes that go from the first shape to the second shape. If I double click one of the blend elements, I can still access the corners and modify them. For example, I could transform this one or move it. And if I apply a different color to the elements that are part of the blend, you will realize that the intermediate steps acquire the intermediate color too. And this is the interesting part of using it with gradients. If I want to change the number of steps between both elements, I just have to select them and double-click the tool. This panel will pop up, and in the drop-down menu we can find three options. The first one is Smooth Color, which lets the program decide how the blend will be done. This option sometimes does what we're looking for, and other times it doesn't. Selecting the second option, Specified Steps, I'll be able to decide myself how many steps I'll have between both shapes. If we select the Specified Distance option, we'll decide the distance at which there'll be a new step. Okay, so if what we want is to get a gradient, what we have to do is to set a big enough number of steps so we don't realize the steps change. In order to do our poster, we'll use this tool to create a depth effect. So let's start with it. First, we'll create a background rectangle to which I'll fill with this blue color, and we're going to lock it so it won't bother us. This, as you may know, is done using Ctrl+2 or Command+2. I'm going to select the pen tool now, and choosing this color for the stroke, I'm going to draw a path that goes through the top left corner of the poster, and another one through the bottom right corner. Through the middle approximately, I'll draw a third path. If I select all three of them and select the blend tool, a series of intermediate paths will generate. If you want to adjust the number of steps, as you know, you can do so by double-clicking the blend tool. In my case, I'll leave it like this. I'm going to adjust the baselines using the direct selection tool so they have the shape I want, and also in order for them to cover the whole poster. I'm going to make them go over the edge of the canvas so I have enough margin. So once I have everything distributed in the poster to my taste, I'm going to expand it so the blend turns into independent lines. I'll do this by selecting the blend, and in the object menu, I click expand. The blend turns into independent grouped elements. So if I enter into the group, I can select every line separately and work with it. In order to create the depth effect, I'm going to duplicate this group holding Alt while dragging it. I'm going to set the color of these lines to the one of the background. I select both groups now, and using the blend tool, I go from the end of the first line of the first group to the end of the first line of the second group. And that way I get to create a blend between both groups. I'm going to adjust the number of steps to be enough for a continuous gradient to be formed, so it looks like my lines have gained volume and turned into walls. I see here that this part is overlapping the opposite as I want, so double-clicking it, I'm going to select the first group, and right-clicking, I'll send it to the front. To enhance the wall appearance, I'm going to copy the top group of lines using Ctrl-C or Command-C, and I'm going to paste the copy outside the blend. I'll do so on the front using Ctrl-F. From the Appearance panel, I'm also going to add a lighter color line and a bit thicker. And last, I'm going to hide the parts outside the poster. For this, I'll draw using the M key a rectangle as big as the poster surface, and then select everything, and then right-click and make clipping mask. Well, I think a bit of grain would look good as a final touch. Okay, so now I can make the template visible again and modify the text and the color. So that's about it. In the next lesson, we'll keep learning uses of the blend tool in poster number 4.